This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2022 Catalina travel trailer model 323 BHDS. Okay, so this is not a floor plan video, it's a how-to video. I'm just going to show you some of the features and how they work, and we'll go from there. So we're on the door side at the rear. And as you can see, you have a griddle that slides out. Now there's a quick connect on the back of it. There's the male side of it. That will plug in right here to this quick connect underneath the trailer there. So in order to get gas to it, you have to plug it in before you try and light it, of course. Now let me look down here for a second, please. Okay, so you can see that shaft with a hex on it, and it sort of lines up with this hole there. What that's telling us is that the slide rooms, the opposite slide room, can be cranked manually. So that would be this one over here. So if you happen to have a failure, something goes wrong, you can use your crank with a 3/4 inch, a 3/4 inch crank on that, or you can use your drill with a 3/4 inch 6-point socket, whatever you want. But you can get that slide room out in an emergency. Now there's another one here for this slide room. You can see it's right here, and we'll see if we can see it underneath here. Right there. I can't really, my monitor, I can't see it very well, but there it is right there. So you can crank the other slide room manually too if you need to in an emergency. So that's always good to know. A lot of people aren't even aware of that, so that's a good thing to know. Coming back to your outside kitchen, obviously you have an AC refrigerator here, and you've got running water. Okay. You have a power awning with LED lights, outside speakers. This is your fresh water fill here. It fills your fresh water tank. So when you're when you're camping, 9 times out of 10 you're just going to hook up to the city water fitting, which is on the other side of the trailer. I'll show you that when we get there. But if you happen to be camping at somewhere where they don't have plumbing on the campsites, let's say a state park, especially some of the older ones, some more rustic campgrounds, if you go to one of those, you can pre-fill the fresh water tank here and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. Everything will work as though you have city water, except you'll be pumping it from the tank. Now this right here is a black tank flush. When you're at the dump site and you dump your black tank, if you leave the valve open on the black tank, you can hook a hose on here, turn it on, it'll spray out the inside of your black tank, and it'll clean off the sensors so you get an accurate reading on your monitor panel. So it's a good habit to get into if there's a working hose at the dump station. Make sure you do that, okay? Now down here, there's a drain. Let me look and see where it's at here. It's going to be down here somewhere. I'm not going to be able to see it very well. Let me go this way. Yeah, well, you'll have to look under there yourself. I can't quite get to it, but there is a drain for your fresh water tank right through there. Okay? You just have to trust me that it's there. Okay. Now this range hood vent right here is obviously for the range hood vent that's over the stove there. One thing to know is that there's a baffle inside here, and on each side there's a little latch. When you're venting to the outside using your range hood, the fan in your range hood, you want to flip up those latches so the baffle inside flaps freely, so it'll actually vent to the outside. If you don't, it won't clearly vent to the outside. So make sure you do that before you use that, and then when you're traveling or storage, you just snap it shut. Okay? This is the water heater here. Okay, so what we have here is this water heater is both gas and electric. Now, you can never run this without water in the tank. There's a tank on the back of this water heater. That's your hot water tank. You never run it without water in there, because if you do, it'll burn out the heating element, for example. The electric heating element is behind this cover here. This switch here, if you can see it, this rocker switch, when turned on, that sends power to your electric heating element, so it'll operate. The other switches are inside the trailer, but one is here in the lower left-hand corner, and it just controls the electric heating element behind this cover. Like I said, never turn that on without water in it. This is your drain right here. It takes an 1 1/16 6-point socket with maybe a 6-inch extension and a breaker of some sort, a ratchet or a breaker to break it free. But that's where you drain it from, and it also has an anode rod attached to it, so it's actually about, maybe 8 inches long, something like that. So it's a combination anode rod and drain. Okay. One of the reasons you might want to drain it, for example, let's say you're camping in the spring, but you're not going to go on another trip till the fall. Well, you don't want the same water in the water heater. It'll get that rotten egg smell and that sort of thing. So you can just take that out and let it drain out. After you do that, and you're going to camp again, always make sure you put water in the tank before you turn it on. Okay. So anyway, I'll show you the rest of the other switch inside for the gas valve. But there you have it. This is cable and satellite out and power, so you could put a TV out here if you want to. Okay. Pass-through storage up front. You have a power tongue jack right here. It's typical up and down, and then you have a hitch light on it also. Now if this fails, you can unscrew this cap here. Let me see if where he's got the crank at. I should have looked before I started here. It must be in the trailer. But there is a small crank. You can take this cap off and you can put it on here and you can crank it manually if you need to. That way you can always get hitched and unhitched no matter what. So in an emergency you always have that option. Alright, you have 2 LP tanks which are full, deep cycle marine battery, and this is the kill switch for the battery here. So you can actually shut it off if you need to put it. Let's say you put it into storage for the winter. Well, you can shut it off right here. Right now it's on, obviously, but that's the kill switch. This is just campground cable into the trailer. Okay. Like I said, both slide outs can be cranked manually. It takes a lot of cranking and effort to do it, but it'll get you out of trouble if you need to do that sort of thing. You have a 50 amp service here, so it has a 50 amp shore cord, power cord, and we give you the reducers too, so it'll reduce it down. So you can plug it in a 30 amp system, or you can even plug it in at home when you're packing it up, so you have lights and everything. Okay, this is the city water connection here. God, this mosquito is attacking me here. Hold on. Man, it's one desperate mosquito. Okay, this is just a outside shower sprayer for kids and dogs and feet and what have you. So you have that, and then of course the handset hangs up there. These are your dump valves. All right. Black is for toilet water and waste. Gray is sink and shower water. People generally dump the black first and then dump the gray, because the gray is cleaner water than the black. And like I said, if you leave the black open and you hook a hose on the dump valve on the other, or excuse me, the black tank flush valve on the other side, you can actually spray that out. These two lines sticking down are low points. So that has to do with winterizing the trailer, but that's the lowest point of the plumbing. Okay? Alrighty. There's also a second tank here. You can see the valve for it. That's another gray tank. It's called a galley tank, which is, or sometimes called gray tank number 2, but it's a second gray tank. Okay. You have a pre-wired mount for a backup camera right here if you choose to add one on. Of course, this whole rack folds down. You carry stuff on it. While we're here, remember that the manufacturer states that the roof should be inspected every 90 days. So somebody needs to go up there and look at the roof, check the sealant for cracking or separation, look at the roof attachments and the roofing material, make sure they weren't damaged by low branches or road debris flipping up there, something like that. Odds are you won't have to do anything for a long time, but that's why you inspect it, just to protect your investment and keep ahead of things, okay? Okay. This device here is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. It should always be green. If it's not, you get it serviced. This is your panel here. Your water heater to light it on gas is right here. That's the fault right there. The water pump is right here. Remember, the water pump will pump water out of the fresh water tank. It will also, I gotta pull this door shut, the sun's hitting me here. It'll also, the pump is also used for winterizing the trailer. Okay, so you can pump water out of the tank and winterize the trailer using the pump. You have your lights here. Your power awning switch is right here. Never leave the awning out unattended when you're not going to be at the campsite. You got your 2 slide rooms here, and then your levels here. Battery charge, black tank. There's only 1 black tank in this one, I think. Let me make sure before I say that. I bet there's 2 actually, or maybe not. Probably just 1. Yeah, there's just 1. So you only use 1 black tank on this one. It's just a standard panel. Okay, and then gray 1 and gray 2. Okay. Sound-wise, this basically, it has AM/FM radio. It has Bluetooth, so you can hook up wirelessly with your phone or your tablet or whatever you have. You can stream off USB here. You can go into the system through this HDMI if you need to. And there's 2 speaker zones, zone 1 and zone 2. 1 is inside the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. Okay. Of course, TV works like any other TV. This right here is for your awning. The awning it will actually change different colors if you want it to, or it can just be white. So that's what that controller is. This controller here is for the fireplace. I don't think we're plugged in right now, so no, we're not. So the fireplace, basically, it has you can change the appearance of the crystals on it. You can there's a timer. You can set the timer on it. There's also different fan speeds, so you can it's a really good space heater. The neat thing about it is it runs on AC power, so you have a limited supply of LP gas. So on those days where you don't quite need the the furnace running, you can run this to take the chill out of the room, and you'll save on gas. So that's a good thing. Okay, so kitchen works like every other kitchen. These are your keys right here that should be hanging right here. Okay. Your range is right here. Now the glass cover should always be closed when you're traveling. It should be in closed position so it doesn't break. Let's see. So this one you're just going to push into spark. So there's 3 burners and 3 knobs here. So you're just going to go to where you need to go and then spark it to light it. Okay. Now with this one here is for the oven, and the oven has a pilot light way back there. Let me see how this one's going here. So you can spark it that way. So you go to the picture of the pilot light, spark it, hold it in for a few seconds to heat it up, and then it goes to operating temperature. When you shut when you shut the oven off, the flame goes out, and so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Keep that in mind. The refrigerator is just a 12-volt DC refrigerator. I shouldn't say just, it's a 12-volt DC refrigerator. That's your microwave. This is the range hood we talked about. Make sure you open the baffle on the vent on the outside. You have seats here, and these jackknife flat, and also you can drop the table onto these cleats here and fill in the space with the cushions, and that's another bed. Before we go into the back, this device here is the power converter. It converts AC to DC power. So you have 110 AC circuit breakers like you have at home right here, and they're all labeled. So this is kind of the distribution panel. And then the power is converted to 12-volt DC on this side. So you got 12-volt fuses, and they're all labeled. So that's where the 12-volt comes from. This is also a battery tender, so it senses how much energy your battery has and needs up front. And if it's charged, it'll just trickle a couple amps up there to maintain it. If it's low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever it needs to charge it. So it's also a battery charger. Now, when you're pulling down the road, obviously your tow vehicle's alternator charges the battery through the charge line, and then when you're plugged in, this will charge the battery. If any of these fuses blow, they'll actually light up, and you can see them glowing through this tinted plastic here. So it's a distribution panel for AC. It also converts AC to DC, and it charges your battery. Okay. So the bunk room, it's pretty typical. Now you can fold this up and pin it in this position, of course, so it's out of the way if you're sitting down beneath it. You can fold those out into a bed, so you get 3 beds in here, and you have some hookups here for a TV, so you got everything you need. Okay. Also, this is prep for a thermostat. This is a. Let me walk up front real quick before I go any further with this. Yeah. So this one is, because it's a 50 amp system, it's pre-wired and prepped for a second air conditioner. The air conditioner would fit in this vent right here. It'll pull out and the AC goes in there, and that sticker's telling you that's where the wire prep is, behind there, if you wanted to add another AC. Okay. The slide room obviously comes in. Always make sure there's no obstructions when you bring it in. It's important, obviously. Let's go this way. Your master bedroom has TV hookups here, and you can hang a bracket and everything right there. There's storage underneath the bed, and of course your emergency window works like this. You just push it all the way through, and you would push it all the way through in an emergency. Then you grab a hold of the red tab and pull out the screen, and you can exit that way throughout it. So that's good. Good thing to know. Okay. I think we've pretty much covered everything. There's also a smoke detector up here that you want to make sure the battery's good in. Okay. So that about covers it. So, first of all, thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Before I go any further, I'll show you, this is the thermostat. It's just analog. Always keep the fan button on auto. You don't have to always, but it's best to do. And then 1 click to the right is heat. 2 clicks back over is fan. Fan is just the air conditioner running without the compressor. Just circulates air. And then all the way over is cool, which is air conditioning. You know, make sure you set the temperature if it doesn't turn on. So it's very simple in this analog. Okay, so now I'll thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting the roof every 90 days. People generally don't inspect the roof enough, so keep after it. If you do that, the trailer will stay bone dry and all that stuff forever. But it does need maintenance, so keep inspecting it. And right now this trailer is in summer mode, in camping mode. It's been de-winterized. Excuse me, there's water in the system, so it's ready to be camped. Okay? Thank you.